the Para Cave podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leisure Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Para Cave podcast, the Parramatta Times. And welcome back to the Para Cave podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is part number 2 of the interview I did with former Sydney City and Cronulla Sharks player and Kiwi captain as well, Richie Barnett. I hope you really enjoyed part 1 of the episode, the interview I did with Richie. I certainly did. Some great rugby league stories there of his time at the Cronulla Sharks and also the Sydney Roosters as well as his international career as well. But there's lots more to come in this second part, so stay tuned for that one. Look, why don't we just get straight into it, and let's get straight into the second part of the chat I had with Richie Barnett. Let's get into it. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Here's over to Richie once again.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we see these days Zach Lomax this season for the Dragons. He's a well-known centre, went to the wing. Shane Flanagan wanted him to play on the wing. He's represented New South Wales, Australia from the wing. And it looks like he will play in the centres again next year for Parramatta. So that's an interesting one. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
It's
very adaptable. Clearly he's a bloody good player, but the adaptability to be able to play different positions is probably more so now because of the injuries, and you've got a wider team now. The injuries are prominent now, so to play that variety and be able to hit a few positions, pretty critical now.
And did Fletch do any of that hard work out wide? Did he? Or?
I think I used to defend on that left side for Brad, so he can relieve and get his magic going. Because that's what you do as the team plays.
Yeah.
Fletch was just he's a good gibber.
As we see these days, anyway.
Yeah, he could play, mate.
Well, again, talking about defence, one of the most underrated players that you played with, he was your centre partner, was Matt Singh. He was probably most notable for his try-saving ability because the amount of tries that he saved was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a talent. He was a real talent. Again, a quiet guy. He was very almost an introvert, really, but man, he could play. He had everything. He had the speed, he had a good size on him. He can defend extremely well. He anticipated extremely well. Hit the holes well. So he had a very, very overall good style of footy. Hey, he used to score them.
Yeah,
crikey, score a try.
Oh, 100%.
Didn't come down my way.
No, went the other side. Went the other side, but and again, I'll ask you about Brad Fittler as well, one of my favourite players in an opposition team. Again, what was he like off the field? We all see what he did on the field, but off the field, what was he like?
No, to me, he's just a normal guy. He loves a beer. He loves getting on the juice. But when you cross the line, it's all business. And I think that was the style of player that we played with. If you look at guys like Jimmy Dimmock, Jason Smith, the guys that I've played with, they're all very similar. But when you get in game mode, it's just like they just they just grab that scruff of the neck of the game and they own it. The confidence is one thing. You got to have massive confidence, and he has. And he also times things, and he probably sees it probably one or two steps ahead of everyone.
Okay.
But he eyes it up, he sees it, and that at one point, this is the time, quick play the ball, jump on it, use your right step or left step, and you dart off because of the size he is. So he's smart in terms of anticipating and seeing the game a few steps ahead. Love playing with him. His
Yeah.
passing is awesome too. You know.
Yeah, no, he's as I said, one of my favourite players in an opposition team, and I wish he was at Parramatta during his career because
Yes.
probably would have won a title by that time, by now, or two. But do you think maybe look, when you were there, the Roosters, they were slowly brewing towards something special because in the late
Yep.
90s it was semi-finals, prelims, and then obviously 2000 made the grand final, 2001 was a prelim, I think, and then 2, 3 and 4 played in grand finals,
Yep.
winning 2002.
Yeah, there was no doubt that they were piecing that piece of the pie quite nicely. You know, we probably lacked a couple of real hard heads during that period of time. And they were just trying to find those players to fill up the void. And yeah, lo and behold, you could just see it, as you mentioned before, 2000, 2001 and 2, and then away they were going. So, and Adrian Morley, they brought a real hard nut over, and he just, again, shifted the dial a little bit further. You had Minicello coming through, starting to get some experience there. And so it really was, they were selecting and placing players where they needed it most. It was really, really good to see. And I know I left most teams, to be honest, when the going was going well. You know, you could just see it. Yeah, it was interesting. But I made a decision. I had a fourth year on my 4-year contract, but I opted to go to London because of the my head clash. I needed to get away.
Okay.
I just needed to a new lease of life again. And yeah, I'm sort of glad I went, but I'm also sort of looking at it and going, that was an opportunity to win a grand final, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, if you stuck around, yeah, definitely that there could have potentially been. What's your favourite memories of playing at the Roosters?
We had fun. I really liked the dynamic of the players, you know, and I think they used to call, you know, like fancy pretty boys or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but I get, you know, everyone hated us, but I really liked the fun that we used to have off it, you know.
Yeah.
And during trainings, you know, you had fun. You know, Natty Woods was always there. You know, like you how can you not? Fletcher's always roaming around having fun. I used to actually pick up Trent Robinson from Cronulla and pick him up from Cronulla all the way up, and we used to get in a car together, you know, a few times. And so there was just just enjoyed every moment. And I guess it's such a well-connected club, right? So you meet so many different people, you know. Nick Politis was amazing, you know. Was amazing to be around.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah,
so you get connected if you want to.
Well, the great man Hayden Knowles, former Parramatta trainer, and I think he's at the Roosters now as well. He always says that the best connected team is the best defensive team, and the best defensive team wins premierships. So that's an important thing about being connected, like as you just mentioned there. What have been your favourite memories of playing against Parramatta, my side, during your career? Any stand out?
Really? Oh, crikey, I wouldn't remember. I can't remember, to be honest, Para.
Because around those late, mid to late 90s, they were sort of becoming a bit more competitive.
They were, you know, when Jimmy switched and Jason Crackers, you know, and then they started to build the side, and you're going. So I guess they really started to amp it up and being very competitive just with those huge signings. Obviously, the quality of players, and I think their football started to go north. You know, real consistency started to come into it, and when they turned the dial, it was really hard to stop.
Yeah,
you know, far out. And I can't remember the games, but I know that when they turned it, man, it was hard to stop.
Yeah, Jared McCracken he's one of my favourite ever players.
Yeah.
He's one of those players that if New Zealanders were allowed to play State of Origin, he'd be made for State of Origin, I reckon.
He would have been.
Jared, that is for sure. Playing over in England, as you mentioned before, what was that experience like? And did you enjoy that? And was that something that you thought was going to happen in your career?
Not really. I was. They wanted to sign me years ago, and I was only coming through as a young player for Crystal Palace when they played there. But no, I never thought I'd ever go to England. So to play with London, it was really quite good because we had, Jason Hetherington, Jimmy Dimmock, Nigel Roy, Tony Martin at that time, Tony Mestrov, funny enough.
Yeah. Dennis Moran.
Yeah. So, we had so many players from Australasian, to be honest. And it was just a new, fresh look at what sort of the football over there was. I used to watch it when I was a kid, So I was always intrigued to see how it'd go. But then the bigger teams were always so much stronger. We struggled. When you're up against Bradford, when you're up against Wigan, Leeds, they're all so hard to play because they were just hugely dominating with all their quality of players.
Yeah.
We didn't have a big side either, so we struggled against size. It was just what it is.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, and then after London, you moved to Hull FC.
Yes.
Was it? I was looking through your playing record. It didn't say that you played against KR. Is that disappointing not to play the local rivalry?
I didn't know that. That would have been very disappointing. Yeah, because I loved Hull KR. I so enjoyed living there. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed my time playing. I played with chronic fatigue syndrome, which was probably what made me stop, of course. But I managed to get through it at 70%. I don't know how I did, but to be honest, I had it at the end of 2002, my last 6 months for my second year at London, and then I came back to New Zealand to recover a bit. I don't know what was going on. And I played the first year, and I played really well, but I wasn't operating. I was about 30% short, and I managed to go through another year, but then I had to stop. It was just getting so hard to play. But I ended up playing really well considering I had chronic fatigue syndrome, and it was probably the toughest part ever to deal with something that's silent, and being so fit. And having to sleep all the time, that did my head in. It just did my head in, and I was slowly start to draw the just to wind you down in terms of your confidence level. I remember I couldn't even. My confidence levels dropped so far down at one point, and I couldn't even talk to a journalist at the time because I didn't know what to say. Because when you're in chronic fatigue syndrome, you've got brain fog, clarity issues, chronic fatigue, sore muscles, and that's just some of the symptoms. And so I lost everything.
Yeah, wow.
And I still had to play.
Yeah. How did you get through that?
Oh, it took me 12 years to get out of it.
Okay.
But I had to study and read up on a lot of things. It's why my whole life now is I do a lot around health and wellness.
Yep.
So because of what I had to go through, and so I started to come right over it. But over the years, I wish I could have done it. What I know now, I could have implemented it earlier, but I had to go through it. I just had to go through it and figure it out. I got some better eating plans. I started to do some ice bathing. I started to, and so on. I came up with so many things, and I am probably I reckon at the age of 53, I'm in probably the best shape I've been in for a while,
So
I couldn't even run 100 meters.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was.
Wow. So no dramas now, or
no?
Nah?
Oh, 7 or 8 years clean from it. So I'm firing all cylinders.
Ah, nice. Well, when you did retire from footy, obviously that all this was going on. You probably wouldn't have had a plan for life after football, or did you? With all this going on, did you think, what am I going to do after football at all?
Yeah.
Or just get through the CTE?
Yeah. Yep, it was very much like that. I didn't have a plan forward of what would look like. I just had to get through the season. No, didn't even plan for it, to be honest. And I came back to New Zealand. I went, all right. So I ended up doing some TV work here in New Zealand. I wasn't really in a place to really work every day with my illness. So I just started to jump onto things when someone went, do you want to maybe start this or do this? Yeah, okay, then I'll do it. Because I didn't really think properly.
Okay.
So I do things like I went to fish and chip franchising, retail, I did that. Got a construction business back in the day with a mate. And still did TV work for about 12 to 14 years until last year.
Yep.
But I've done everything. I got into charity work. So it was just sort of going through and weaving myself through it and just hoping it'll come up with something, but which is not a great plan, right?
No, I guess probably important for players these days to have a think about life after football, and I think
100%.
Clubs and the NRL are probably doing a lot better in that space, educating those young players. What's keeping you busy these days? Well, what are you up to these days?
So I've done a lot of mentoring for youth. So I've not only youth, but generally I mentor or counsel a lot of young kids over the years.
Okay.
And I work for a charity called I Am Hope. So that's a suicide prevention charity.
Okay.
Which I love. I'm the partnership manager there. Really enjoy it. It's a big part of what we do in this country. Both countries actually are not great in terms of stats around mental health and wellbeing. So it's becoming very prominent now in both countries where we're losing so many kids and, people to suicide. So I know your country, you're losing one a week. We lose 11 a week.
Yeah, wow.
To suicide.
Yeah, that's 12 people too many for sure.
Absolutely.
I know, shout out to Gus Warland. He's a famous Roosters supporter, and on Triple M he's got his charity, Gotcha for Life, as well, and he's trying to do the same thing as you in Australia, just lower that suicide rate. He calls it mental fitness in that regard, but yeah, he's doing a great job in that space as well. Good man, Gus. Good man. What do you think of today's game, and do you get to watch a lot of today's NRL?
Yeah, I do. I like the speed. I really like the speed. I love the speed of the game and the openness of the game. You know, it's probably bringing out a lot more creativity in it. I know sometimes it's overstructured, which is something that you sort of look at and go, but I actually really like the fact that it's in play more now.
Okay.
So if we're looking at a product, everyone loves the rugby league at the moment because it's so open, it's so quick, it's in play more, and the physicality and the fitness levels is through the roof. It's ridiculous what they're doing now. So I love it.
Do you think if you're able to, do you think if you could play in this competition?
I'd love to. This is the style of football I would have loved to be a part of.
Which players in today's game do you think, or you would love to have played or play with if you're able to these days?
I reckon Joseph Manu's an extremely talented player. He's impressive. You know, I like his style.
Yeah,
that's the sort of style I like to play. Clearly, he's got a numerous amount of skills.
Anyone else?
I like. I don't watch a heck of a lot now, but I forgot his name now. The Kiwi that plays for you guys,
Dylan Brown.
Dylan Brown.
Yeah,
I like him. I wish we'd have him in our Kiwi side at the moment. Crikey.
Yeah, no, he's going to be out for a while, unfortunately, with his knee injury. But hopefully, when he comes back, he can certainly turn it up. That's for sure. There is talk of NRL expansion, and potentially in 10, 12 years' time, going to 20 teams. It looks like PNG might be slated in for one of those sides, but there also is I think a bid from Christchurch as well that's wanting to get in. Do you think New Zealand is ready for another NRL team?
Probably not immediately, but I think they are ready because the new stadium that's being built down there, and I think rugby league in this country is growing substantially. It's on the lips of many people now. The product's right, timing's right, and the window might be open in, I don't know, a year or two. I could be wrong, but I feel like the South is really ready for it. And I don't think it's going to water down what they do in the Warriors because they'll have it. It just means that it creates more pathways for rugby league in this country, and it gives everyone a closer touch to footy down in the South, and it's growing. It is a growing game. That's what I love about what NRL is doing now. That they've got the product. They're showcasing it extremely well, and everyone's jumping on the ride. So we need to grow with it. I don't know whether it's immediately that Christchurch will be ready, but some people say, yes, we are. But I'm not in the position to.
Could there potentially be, when New South Wales and Queensland play, could there potentially be a North Island versus South Island sort of series?
It'd be cool.
Would there be enough players to cover both?
Oh, geez, yeah. These are a huge amount of players to be able to fill that void. I think in the Test match they would have had about 5 or 6 from South.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that's a fair representation of the 17 players that were on the field.
Yeah.
There's plenty there.
Yeah, no, that's sounds like a good concept. I think to have
it is a good concept.
New South Wales, Queensland, and then have the North versus South.
Absolutely.
And again, that would strengthen the international game as well, with the best of those players playing against each other. That is for sure. Just a couple common league questions. Other than your home ground, did you have a favourite ground that you used to love playing at?
I like the SFS, to be honest. I really like that. Probably the favourite one has got to be the Hull FC, really. It's only because of the level of how they support it makes it. I know it's a beautiful stadium, but when you got 20 to 30,000 people in there, it feels like you're playing in front of 100,000 people. It's so noisy. And they sing songs about individuals. They banter against opposition. And so how could you not? Every time you run out there, you go, wow.
Yeah.
They know how to support, eh? They really do.
I've heard that.
We're getting better, but, the Warriors have got a really good connection with their supporters. That's growing big time. But the standard approach lately, we've got to, I think we've got to get better. And it's slowly getting better, with the
absolutely.
The clap of the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah.
So there is more engagement there. It's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors did a great job this year. I think selling out every home game. But that's what it's about, isn't it? The fan engagement. And
it is.
Did they have a Richie Barnett song over there in England for you?
Yeah, I think they said there's only one Richie Barnett. And unfortunately, we had another Richie Barnett.
Oh, okay.
And he was on the outside of me, so I never gave him the ball.
No, that's fair enough.
So I had to change the song.
What about a least favourite ground? Was there one that you hated playing at for whatever reason?
It was the old Boulevard. The Boulevard.
Yeah?
Which is Hull FC's old it was a shocker. They used to spit at you, throw things at you. It was a disgrace. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible field.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound good at all. Was there a player in the sheds before a game that you looked over and gave you confidence? You thought, we're on here today.
So, I guess people like Quinton Pongia, when I'm talking Test series, because I sort of used to, I look at Q, Rube, Stacey, and Crackers when he was there, and obviously, it just gives you confidence, mate, And to be honest, we'd have so many players in and out, it was ridiculous. I mean, that game that I lost 56-0 when I got a head clash, I think we had one training run together before a Test match against the best in the world, right?
Okay, wow.
We had everyone pulling out. We had people arriving from England, Robbie Paul and Henry Paul. They didn't come back till Wednesday night, trained Thursday, played Friday. And you wonder why we got flogged, you know?
Yeah.
You just can't do that, you know? And I was hoping at that stage we'd go, if we don't get a side in for an Anzac test, we should, because we're damaging the brand, you know? We're going through, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was one of the worst moments I think I look back and I go, wow. How can we play the best when we have, you know, we had a centre playing 5'8". It was just
all over
shocking.
the shop.
All over the shop.
You achieved your dream of playing NRL, but if you didn't go down the rugby league path, what do you think you would have done?
Probably rugby union.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably highly likely to be rugby union. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Well, time for the quick top 10 and the set of 6 to wrap things up. The quick top 10 is just some sort of fun questions, and you can elaborate on those if you want to. Barbecue or tomato sauce?
Tomato.
Yeah, and
tomato sauce. Love it. It's the only way.
And the side question to that one is: do you keep it in the fridge or the cupboard?
Fridge.
Okay. I'm a cupboard guy. I think it makes the sauce go hard, to be honest, if you put it in the fridge and then hard to squirt on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, just it's just a thing.
On a plane, do you prefer the window or aisle seat?
Interesting. So sometimes the window I like to, depending where I'm going.
Yep.
If I want to see outside and the view, awesome. Or I want to get out. So if I want to go to the toilet or I want to go grab something, I'm right at the edge. So.
Oh, yep. No, that's fair enough. Another, I guess you could say, controversial question. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No. Disgraceful. No, I'm the true Italian way. I would never have pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, fair enough.
Disgusting.
Fair enough. Tea, are you a tea or coffee guy?
I love both.
Yeah. Favourite holiday destination?
Probably Italy, the Cinque Terre, and hopefully that we're going to Croatia, so hopefully that'll turn me around, and Croatia might be the place. Yeah. But we're going back to Italy next year, so I can't wait.
Nice. I've always wanted to get there myself, to be honest, see all the sights and delights and eat all their food there, because I'm sure it would be amazing. Speaking of food, McDonald's or KFC, man?
I can't stand them both.
Okay, yeah.
No, but if I had a choice, actually it sits in between. I'd probably go Macca's.
Okay, yeah. What about after a game? Did you have a post-meal, post-game of choice?
Probably like Italian or something, you know, or a burger or something like that. Whatever you could find really afterwards. I had no preference really. It was just what do you feel like having at that time? Well, but it'll have to be something substantial, because after that you just, you know, you have to smash some food down.
Well, speaking of hamburgers, is it compulsory to have beetroot on a hamburger?
Yes. I'm a big fan of it. Yes.
Yeah, I hate these shops that don't put beetroot on and you've got to ask for it.
Yes.
Best piece of advice you've been given, and who gave it to you?
Oh. Probably. Oh, good question, actually. I don't think it was something someone said, but I think what my mum always did was to be empathetic and respectful. Okay. So it's not something she said, it's what she did.
Yeah.
So I think the best lesson is to learn off your parents, and I think my mum gave me a very good snapshot on how to treat people.
Nice. Favourite movie of all time?
Oh, God. I'm terrible at these ones. Movie. Wouldn't have a clue.
Nah, that's all right. What about a TV show then?
Don't really watch the TV shows.
No, that's fair enough.
I'm a Netflixer, but I can't even remember the Netflix ones.
Probably the Michael Jordan. What was that called? I can't remember.
The F1 I really enjoyed.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I really like we got hooked on it. Wife and I got hooked on it. on F1 about a year or so ago, and now a young fella called Liam Lawson's now racing in it, and we know who the mother.
Okay.
So we're so super happy just to we love it. I mean, I've just finished watching it now because I missed it this morning.
Yes, the Mexican Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Well, that sort of ties into the next one. First car?
First car was what was that? A Hillman Hunter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it had the guy I bought off, which is a good friend of mine, his dad was a spray painter, so he's this beautiful metallic colour. It was beautiful, and it was so cheap, but it was so good. I should have kept it. It was that good.
What about your dream car? Is there one out there that you want to get?
I was never really into cars.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I think that the most I've ever paid for a car, because I don't know why, I just go, why would I want to spend that much money? Anyway, so the only one I think I got, what would sort of resonate with me now? I actually really don't know. It's not something I really think about.
No, that's fine. Okay, the set of six, we'll wrap things up with that one. Now, this one's probably going to be a little bit difficult for yourself because you played so many sports as a kid, but you just mentioned one there. Favourite sport outside of rugby league?
Golf.
Okay, yeah.
Love it, yeah.
Ever hit a hole in one?
No, I've never done it close, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
I just love the sport. It just really is one of those games where it's so testing, it's so hard mechanically, mentally. I love it to play with friends. You can't beat it. It's just, and you're outside. You're walking around in some really beautiful places. So,
nice. I'm a bit of a hacker myself, but
good man.
Yeah, I'm more of the fun part.
Yep.
You said rugby union before, but if you weren't a first grade rugby league player, what career path do you think you would have went down? Would it have been
definitely
through the sports, or would it have been something else?
No, it would have been sport. It would have been. I would have gone definitely through the rugby union pathway. To be honest, I felt that I was extremely good at rugby union, and I was a centre as well, and it just worked for me. It was just
and being a New Zealand kid, how difficult was that to make that decision? Like, because rugby union would have been, well, it's the number one sport in New Zealand, isn't it? So how tough would that decision have been? Was there any thought of potentially crossing back over and going back to rugby union after rugby league?
Yeah, there was. When I when I went from the Roosters, it was probably to go to London. It was in between those years, where I thought, do I look at an option of playing rugby? But then I just went, I can't be bothered, just keep playing. So no, I actually thought about it, but nothing really eventuated with it. Basketball was probably the other one.
Yeah.
And I was playing for Auckland at the time when I was 19. So it was this decision I made when I was going to either go to league or rugby, and I was playing basketball at the time for Auckland. So, yeah.
Nice. What would be the one unique thing people don't know about Richie Barnett?
I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, so I studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
So I did a lot of self-development stuff because of the chronic fatigue syndrome I had, and I wanted to understand a little bit about human behaviour. So I did a lot of study around that, and so I use that to help other people, and I use it to support others that are going through challenging times, and they've can't get out of the funk really, and so that's what I do.
Nice.
And I utilise everything else, the health and wellness programs we've got, teach people what to eat, how to eat it. And that's what I do.
Nice. Which three former teammates wouldn't you want to be stuck on a deserted island with, and why?
I wouldn't want to be.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be.
Oh,
You wouldn't want to have them hanging around for whatever reason.
uh,
Or are they all too nice?
yeah, I'm too nice.
Yeah, they're all too nice.
Too nice of me.
Can't think of anyone who'd probably eat all the food or would.
Well, yeah, bloody no,
No?
no, all good.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, you're hosting a dinner party. What is the one meal, your speciality, that you cook and serve to your dinner guests?
Ooh, I'm a big a Mediterranean roast dish. So it's got lamb in there with some Mediterranean. You got potatoes underneath. You've got tomatoes. You've got zucchini. You've got olives, and it's just stews in there for hours, like 4 or 5 hours. It just is to die for.
Nice.
It is absolutely stunning.
You couldn't choose 3 deserted island people, but which 3 people, alive or dead, that you haven't met, would you invite to that dinner party?
Oh, crikey. Michael Jordan would be one. Nelson Mandela would be the other. Probably, actually, I haven't met. You're right. Haven't met before. Well, I'll just say it because my brother passed away when he was 19.
Yeah.
19. So I'd love to have him back.
Yeah. No, for sure. And they can enjoy the Mediterranean roast.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Favourite band or solo artist to listen to?
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Big fan of Fleetwood Mac, yeah.
Favourite Fleetwood Mac song?
Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Gypsy. Love them both, yeah. And the new ones with the new, the new phase, the new mixes, the remixes. It's really good.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
I've often said that the 80s probably music is the best, and you do see these days a lot of artists doing those remixes of those songs.
Absolutely. They're
so
awesome
good.
now.
Yeah, that's it. Would you have ever had like a pump-up song in the sheds before a game at all?
I probably could have slept, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the quiet and the noise, I thought I'd go down so you're not thinking. So I didn't have a real get up and go song. I tried to just sort of drown it out and just sort of go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I know music can do that, but I never did actually. I used to watch other players spew and all that, but before a game.
Yeah, that is a common one, but I have heard that the great Brett Kenny used to fall asleep in the change rooms about 5 minutes before a game, and they'd have to wake him up. You got to get out there. But that's how relaxed he was before a game. So the best can do it. You could have done it too.
Yeah, mate.
Well, Richie Barnett, thank you very much for joining me today on the Paracave podcast. I've really enjoyed it. I love watching your career at the Roosters and the Sharks. Roosters and Sharks, and also for New Zealand as well. And it's great to go down memory lane and chat about your career. And we wish you all the best in the future. And look, if I'm ever in New Zealand, I'll send you a message and we'll catch up and say good day.
Sounds good, mate. Thanks for having me on, and all the best for the next podcast.
How you going, mate? Are you a Paracave podcast listener?
I am, bro. It's a great podcast. Everyone tune in.
Go Para.
Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
And thank you for listening to Richie Barnett and part number 2 of the episode. I hope you enjoyed episodes 1 and 2. And I'd like to thank Richie for his time on the podcast. I really enjoyed that chat with Richie. I hope you did as well. Now, as I said, this was the last interview that I will release for 2024, hoping to do some over the off-season and bring to you in 2025, hoping to bring some really good, interesting guests for you to listen to. But I would just like to thank, before I go, as I said, I'll probably do some little podcasts here and there, maybe if there's any breaking news or whatever, Parramatta-wise. But if I don't, I would like to thank all the sponsors for 2024 of the podcast. Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club. Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty. BTZD Clothing. The Parramatta Times, the official media partner of the Para Cave podcast. I'd also like to thank League Tees as well. They've helped me out throughout the year, giving a few giveaways away. And also I would like to thank Grips Socks as well. They did some game day giveaways as well, so hopefully we can maybe do that again next year. So thank you to everyone. If I've forgotten anyone, I apologise, but I hope to see you back in 2025 as well, and looking forward to getting into the season in 2025, and hopefully the podcast will be bigger, better as well next season, with obviously the Game Day podcast, the Game Day review, or the Game Review podcast, tipping podcast, interviews as well, so, and any Parramatta news as well coming out as well. So we'll kick back off in about January, I'd say, sometime. I'm not exactly sure when, but who knows, it may be even earlier. I may even do some podcasts during January as to favourite ever Eels team, and also some looking forward to this season in 2025 Parramatta Eels wise, in terms of team lineups and the like, captain choices and the like as well, something like that, if it's not revealed before January, which it very well may be. If it is, I will jump on and do a podcast about that anyway. But look, I hope it will be bigger and better in 2025. So thank you everyone for listening throughout the season or throughout the year in 2024. If you're a new listener to the podcast, welcome, and thank you for your support. To all those that follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. Spread the word out there, because next season it will hopefully be bigger and better. So thank you very much to all you guys, the listeners. I love what I do for you guys, and I really appreciate the support. And hopefully in 2025, out and about at games, I can catch up and say g'day and say thank you in person. So thank you very much once again. This is not goodbye, this is not farewell, this is not goodbye, but it is for 2024 anyway. But for those that are listening now, have a safe and Merry Christmas, and also a Happy New Year as well. Spend it with your loved ones and your families and friends, and enjoy it as well. Thank you very much from myself, and I will see you. I'll put some podcasts out soon. But yeah, this is Troy signing off for 2024, saying the Para Cave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go, Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. See you next time.